All right, last question. Once again without a diagram, which is why I'm making another one of these videos. So we read and Miriam is participating in a water skiing competition. Be careful she doesn't break a hip, the name like that. She goes over a water ski ramp that is 4 meters long. When she leaves the ramp, she is 1.7 meters above the surface of the water. Okay, so if we imagine that Miriam is on a lake, it looks kind of like this, except maybe a little bit more like water and less like a scribble. We know that the total length of the ramp that she's going to go up is 4.0 meters, and she ends up at a height of 1.7 meters above the water. So although we can't necessarily see the whole ramp because of all that scribbly water, we can imagine that it's a triangle, a right triangle. So what is the horizontal length of the ramp? That is this piece right here. That's part A. If we know two sides of a triangle and we're solving for a third, and that triangle happens to be a right triangle, we will be using the Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And which side is the hypotenuse? If you said that c is the hypotenuse and 4.0 is the hypotenuse, you are correct, which means that we need to make sure that 4.0 goes in place of c. 1.7 can go in place of a or b, it doesn't really matter. Now, because we're dealing with decimals, I'm going to move things around before I start calculating anything. So I get b squared equals 4.0 squared minus 1.7 squared. I'll calculate that to be 13.11, but that is still b squared. We are not done. Square root both sides to finally calculate that b equals the square root of 13.11, also known as 3.6. So that is the answer to part A. Part B asks for the angle of elevation. So which angle is the angle of elevation? Angle 1 or angle 2? If you said angle 1, you are correct. Angle of elevation is always measuring from the horizontal and upward. So we want to use the values that we were given whenever we can. In this particular case, that's 1.7 and 4.0. So I'm dealing with my opposite and my hypotenuse. And so for part B, I'm actually going to use the sine function because I'm solving for an angle given two sides. The sine of my angle equals 1.7 divided by 4.0. If I use sine inverse to calculate this, I'm going to go sine inverse, or second function sine on my calculator, divided, and then 1.7 divided by 4. And I should get 25 degrees. And that's your answer. And you are done your practice test.